Hi everyone, this is Jen Ballou. How are you doing? So I just wanted to take a moment to say welcome to this space. And I'm looking for my notepad because I need it. But I wanted to talk today about false light. Understanding it, essentially. I'm going to break it down. What is false light? What does it look like? How does it play itself out? How does it play itself out within multiple realms, multiple realities, densities, etc., etc. And we're going to talk about how to attune to and recognize false light, whether you are personally holding on to it, propagating it, or perhaps have become infected by it, you could say. Where it has been instilled in you in some way, and to also talk a little bit about that process of releasing it, of letting it go, of coming into your true light. And it's all connected, right? And it's all connected, and that is a part of your progression moving forward. To go through this process. We all have to go through this process. So just give me a moment. I'm going to go grab my notepad and we'll chat. Okay, so false light is really a system, right? Systemic oppression. Your true light can also be suppressed. It can be suppressed from within yourself. It can be suppressed by others. It can be oppressed. It can be suppressed. Essentially means like you're not bringing it out. It's not being brought out. It's not being brought to the surface. And when you're being oppressed, or when you are experiencing oppression, it's this like external force essentially that is pressing upon you in order to stop you from speaking your truth or sharing your light. So suppression is pushing it down. Oppression is actively stopping it, you could say. So suppression, you could say, is a little bit more feminine, maybe passive. Oppression is much more active. So what does false light look like? False light is inauthentic. It is there to support false realities. It is used as a tool to keep people in the dark. It is used as a tool to manipulate. It is used as a tool to hold power and control. It is used as a tool to really keep people out of their true light, authentic expression. Because when that happens, then whoever it may be, whatever it may be, is no longer in power and no longer in control. When people are embracing their true authentic light, when they are standing in it, where they are speaking from it, where they are living and being within it and from it, and creating and manifesting through and within it, that causes a problem for those who propagate false light, because then they no longer hold power and control, because the cat's out of the bag, you could say. And so when you are a propagator of false light, when you are a holder of false light, and you're within that system, you can take multiple roles, right? You can be complacent within the system, where you just kind of let it go. You let it pass. You don't say anything about it. You just, but you allow it to continue. You allow it to continue, even though inside of yourself you know something's off. Something's wrong, something doesn't fit, it's not right. But you don't explore that feeling, right? Then we could take it a step further and we could say that, you know, somehow this false light works in your favor, and so, or you think it does. You may think it does, or it gives you some sense of perhaps false empowerment, because it's always going to be false. It's never going to be true if it's on that end of the spectrum. It will never be true. You can't make something true. You cannot bring into existence of something that is based in false light, that is not based in true light, right? Because it's the opposite. You have authentic, true light, source light, and where does this come from? What is, let's talk about authentic, true source light. You know, that is something that is derived, right, from within. I can't tell you what authentic, true source light is for you, but I can tell you that it is something that you derive from within. You connect within yourself in order to derive that true, authentic light. And then you're able to kind of start to build from it and create this expression, this beingness, right? This reality. When you are not existing in the one true reality, right? In the one true reality, because there really is only one true reality, and that is what is happening. That is what is happening. But it is up to you as the perceiver to perceive it, right, as the one true reality. And if you're not perceiving that one true reality, which is derived from within your authentic true source light, then you are existing within a false reality, a false light system, and you are also propagating it, and you are complacent within it. So some people, you can say, right, there are multiple realities occurring simultaneously, which is true on some level. But on the overarching level, there is only what is happening and your perception of it. And that perception itself can be a limited perception, a greater perception, a more whole perception. Because what is happening, right? And then it's also the perception of that which is happening. And that perception is based on your own knowing, your knowledge base, your understanding. And there can be biases within that. And that's why you want to begin to unpack all of your biases, all of your distortions, where you may think, where you may perceive something as this when really it's not, or your limitations, where you may perceive something within this box when really it is not, right? Because the one true reality is infinite. And yet it is always happening. And yet it is whole, and it is one. One true reality. So in order to exist within that one true reality, within your own authentic true source light beingness, you must release all false light, and you must exist within this one true reality and hold within this one true reality. Okay, so back to false light. How can you recognize it? All right, let's talk about recognition of it. So I like to work through feeling. Well, no, first it's sensing, right? You're sensing something, you're picking up on something. So it's learning how to open up your sensory system to tune into what is truly happening. Perhaps, let's say. What is it that I'm sensing? What is it that is truly happening? But it starts with this opening up your sensing, opening up your sensuality, opening up to your sacred feminine, right, in order to sense. You call this extrasensory perception if you feel to. But it is opening to that deeper ability, right? It is not taking something at face value. It is not believing something because it is being said or because it fits into perhaps your idea of or what you want, or it is moving deeper. What are you truly sensing? What am I feeling here? Right? And you move into that feeling. What am I truly feeling here? And you begin to work through those feelings within wholeness. Not within what you want to feel or what you think you should feel, or the feeling that fits within that box, right, of what's being brought to you, what's being presented to you, let's say. Start working through those feelings, move into, well, okay, so what do I know? And how can I work with what's being presented to me based on what I know? So it's tuning into what you already know to be true. So you're still connecting to that truth. Because if you know something to be true, nobody can take that away from you. You just know it. It's simple fact. It would be like, okay, so my hair is brown, right? Somebody can come to me and say, your hair is not brown. Your hair is blonde. No, my hair is brown. No, your hair is blonde. No, my hair is brown. Do you see? I know that to be true. And yet somebody can come to me and they can come in their conviction and they can keep telling me that my hair is blonde, but I'm never going to believe that it's blonde. Right? No, I can back up and I can say, okay, well, what's the feeling? This person is trying to make me doubt myself. Right? This person is telling me something about me that I know is not true. And yet they are coming to me with such strong energy, attempting to make me believe something about myself that is not true. Make me believe something that is completely not even based in fact or reality. And this is happening right now. And we all need to take the responsibility. We all need to hold accountability in these moments because nobody is going to save us. This idea that we will be saved and that we just have to sit back and just watch the show is false, and it is a part of the problem. Do you see it? We save ourselves. Humanity has everything within itself. We all have everything within ourselves. Everything. We have the ability to save ourselves. We have the ability to move forward. We have the ability to create and manifest anything that our heart desires within alignment to source, to your own true authentic source. That is the true creation and manifestation process that we are meant to move into, right? So it's connecting into that knowing. So when you know something, and I know this was a really simple example, but I'm just trying to help you attune to it, right? Seeing, right? Your ability to see things, right? So you can move into your ability to see what is happening, let's say. So if this person is coming to me, right? And let's say I've opened up my sensing abilities. Well, why is this person coming to me with this? Why are they trying to tell me something about, because I've already started to recognize something is off because I'm sensing it. Because they won't stop. They keep, they just won't back off. They don't like the fact that I'm in my truth. They don't like the fact that I'm basing things on fact or knowings. Then you move, and then you're feeling, well, what are you feeling within that? Okay, well, this person is trying to have power or control over me. This person is somehow trying to get me to doubt myself or perhaps throw me off a little bit. So then they can maybe see if they can manipulate me, right? See if they can have power over me. see if they can have control over me. Now, why would somebody want to do that? They would want to do that in order to pull you in to a false dynamic, right? Where you then are dependent on them for truth. Because you gave up your truth somewhere along the way. You bought in. It was sold to you. Because of doubt, fear, distortion, unknowing, whatever it may be that you hold within yourself. Now we can call the thing out, right? We could choose to blame, or we could choose to hold accountability within ourselves and recognize where we perhaps lost that connection, that authentic source connection, that connection to our own knowing, that connection to our own sensing, that connection to our own feeling. And that is the process of coming back, returning within, returning to that true source, authentic expression. So I can see, right? If I'm moving my seeing, I can see what is happening, right? I can see what is happening within multi-scope. I can see what is happening on the other side, and I can also see what is happening within myself, within that dynamic that is presenting itself, let's say, and then understanding. Okay, so let's move into understanding. So now that I have gone through this process, I can come into this space of understanding false light. I get it. I get it. Right? I get what it is. Not only do I get what it is, but I also get how it has an effect on me. I also get, right? I understand how the process works. I understand how I can heal myself from this. I understand how I can align myself to something new. And I also understand how I can help and support others in dismantling this as well. Because that's just the next step. I mean, I could go on my merry way if I chose to, but then I would be allowing, right, that false light to continue. I would be allowing that to continue to happen. Now, I have a free will within that, and I can choose to do that, but I choose to step in, step up, and confront this disease. So, because I understand false light, I understand how it works, and I understand that it can't continue. And why can't it continue? Because it is doing harm. It is doing harm on an individual level. It is doing harm on a grander scale. It is keeping people out of their unions. It is keeping things from moving forward. And it is holding evil in place. And because I know my true authentic light source expression would never allow evil to continue, that I would never just turn a blind eye to something that is evil, like, sexual abuse of any kind, manipulation, where you're taking somebody out of their own process, or you're abusing the other person, or you're trying to create something that works for you, but doesn't work within this greater whole that will do damage and really kill things, right? So it's a little bit. Okay, so false light. That's false light. That's my own process, you could say, regarding what I am here for and what I am here to do. So let's go deeper. Let's go deeper into it. How else does false light manifest itself? False light will cause disruption. It will cause disorder, and this occurs on the individual level as well as within the collective, right? Within the one individual, right? Within the person, within the collective. Now, the cure to this, you could say, is each person coming into their own authentic source light expression which is the ultimate reality, and we're all able to coexist within that. And it's true. When we all enter into our, we don't need to tell it, we don't have to force another person to believe something that we need because we're insecure in our own belief system. That's false light. Within true, authentic source light, there is no, everything coexists. Everything exists as one. Everything exists within harmony, wholeness, totality. There's no push-pull. Everything is free. Everything is sovereign. There is no dependency. Now, I'm not saying that there's not interdependency, but there's no codependency where you are dependent on that one thing in order to really allow the other thing to exist, right? True, authentic source light is always in existence. All you have to do is tap into it. All you have to do is tap into that flow. All you have to do is tap into that light. How do you tap into that light? You release the false light and you allow the true light to return, to come in, and it's instantaneous. You don't have to exist with, you may have to experience the void, but it is truly just an experience. It is the holding on that creates the pain and the suffering. It is the resistance. I work a lot with moms in coaching them through childbirth and helping them to prepare for childbirth. And I always tell them, like, what causes pain is your resistance, right? And that's why they will say, by your second, third, fourth birth, right? It's easy peasy because the process has already been learned. Your body knows it. The muscle memory is there. It's already occurred. And once it's already occurred, you already know you know the process, right? You know the process. And it can be the same. It is when we hold on, when we tighten up, when we do not allow ourselves to be still and allow, right, things to move through us and move out of us and release out and then come in and reorder. And when we are in resistance to that, when we're holding on and we're trying to do this thing and that thing and this thing, because that's what we always have been doing. And at the same time, that false light will come in and it will tell you to continue doing that. That's the right thing to do. And so you get locked out of that true, authentic source. Expression, being. It is about clarity. It is about understanding. It is about releasing, letting go. When you hold on, when you hold on to that, and there's a difference between resistance, rising resistance, right? Resistance with purpose, resistance with action in order to change things, in order to progress things forward into this authentic source light, beingness, coexistence, harmony. Because we can only exist within harmony when we allow all to exist, when we allow all to coexist, right? There shouldn't be any suppression, there shouldn't be any oppression. And so when you have an individual who is being suppressed, who is suppressing, who is being oppressed, who is oppressing, right? You do not have harmony, you do not have relationship, you do not have, you are not in connection with your own source, because you don't need those things. We don't need those things. Now, yes, this means that you won't be superior, or you won't be better than others. You will be within a state of equality. Right? No one above you, nobody below you. You are your own source, sovereign being. And everybody else has the potential to be one as well, to be connected within themselves in order to be within this wholeness of being. False light blames, right? Uses things to blame, abuse, right? That's how it continues to exist. And when you do not do anything about it, you are complacent within it. You are enabling it to continue. So you must take up your true source, authentic light, and reveal that which is false. Realize that which is false for you. And this goes deep, deep, deep. When we talk about, let's say, like, so something I will often see within certain, maybe twin flame circles, ascension circles, spiritual circles, it's this, I am special. I have been chosen. I am saved. And while you could say on some level that that is true, that we are all special, that we all have been chosen, that we all may choose to step up, to step into our light, it's not a free pass. It doesn't work like that. It takes work. It takes inner work and it takes outer work. It takes the ability to reimagine things outside of the false light reality, outside of the false light perspective. You must build into and through your true light expression. You must, part of the process is recognizing that there is a purpose for you here. And that doesn't make you better or more than anyone else. Because we all are meant to live in that purpose. It's simply a matter of whether or not we're choosing to align to it, or whether we're choosing to stay within that old space of, I am special. I have been chosen. I'm already there. Done. The work never stops. The process never stops. You know, something I've been really connecting to lately is understanding what is happening here in the United States when it comes to the state of our country, when it comes to the darkness that exists within the American people. And where do I want to go with this? And so something that I have been studying or, connecting into is democracy, understanding systems, right? Understanding different types of systems, economic systems, governmental systems. Everything's systems, right? Everything is systems. So when you look at, let's say, the system of democracy, let's say, and you go back to democracy itself, the understanding of democracy, not what you may think democracy is, or the distorted version of what you may have been told, or what you've been brought to believe, or that it's 333 here. It all, like, we we live in this happy democracy. No, democracy is a process. Democracy is a process. And if that process of democracy is not adhered to, followed, in every single system that exists within the democracy, it will fail. All the systems will collapse, even the economic. And so really, when we have certain things like capitalism, they don't really fit with democracy. It's a mismatch. They don't go together, and that's why we are having the problems we are having. That's why we have the very shitty economy that we have. And for those of you who think that we have a good economy, or we had a good economy and Trump's some kind of savior, that is a fallacy. Our economy has been failing for a very long time. That is why we have seen these bailouts, because they have to fix it. If something is already whole and complete and functioning, you don't have to fix it. I hate to break it to you. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to do anything. You're already whole, complete, functioning. Nothing has to be fixed. It's already working. It's already in process, right? So when you do not continue to adhere the democratic process, then you are anti-democracy. Plain and simple. There is no way around it. It just is. So somebody like Trump is not in alignment with democracy. All of his behaviors, his actions, everything that he has demonstrated up to this point is to fail the system of democracy. Now, I'm not saying that Trump has some agenda, because I really don't believe that he has some great grand vision agenda. I believe Trump wants power and he wants control, and so he will do anything in order to retain that. Anything that he can. Right? That's what we are seeing playing itself out. And if you do not believe that, then you are existing within a false reality system. If you believe that all of a sudden this individual is just going to wake up one day enlightened, that is not how it works. Enlightenment is a process. Ascension is a process. You don't just wake up one day and everything's just, although you receive huge amounts of light, it's a process. You have to distill it. You have to work with it. You have to allow it to remove and refine through you. It does not happen overnight. I've been going through this process for a very long time. And he is not in process. He is running away from it. He is attempting to create and bypass, right, democracy in order to create his own system. There is no way around it. That is what is happening. And if you don't want to believe it, it is because you are holding on to false light, because that false light is giving you something. It is providing you with something. You may, within your reality, although it may not really be serving you. False light never serves the whole. It may serve the individual that's propagating it on some level, and that's why it's held on to. That's why people become complacent, because it serves them. It's just like racism. It's just like racism. And so in order to understand it, and in order to move out of it, right, you must learn about it. You must recognize it. You must see it. You must open up your eyes. Not, and something to note here when it comes to, right, true light, right, source light, you don't have to hold on to it. It's always there. You just have to connect to it. It's just your ability to witness, free and clear as a light being, pure. What is happening? And then once you are able to recognize what is happening, then you experience what is happening. And then you can be who you are meant to be. Shine your light on that. But if you don't have a reference point or you don't have an understanding of what it is that you're seeing, you will naturally attune to or hold on to some false, right, reality. It's like rose-colored glasses, or like when you would go into a fun house and everything would all be distorted, because you don't have the ability to truly see things just as they are happening, just as it is, right? You are holding on to the idea, the concept of a thing, right? Democracy is a process, and that is, that has to be upheld in order to have a true democracy. There's no way around it. All voices have to be heard. And as all voices are heard, then we can begin to heal. We can begin to separate, right, false from true. But when you And so we go back to what is true for you. And you build. And you hold to that feeling, that knowing, that seeing, and you return to that. And then you move forward. Alignment. But when you are listening to something that is external to you, as if it is going to hold some truth for you, although it may, it is not the whole truth, and you will be manipulated through that. So better to release it and just hold to your own truth and work with that. Yes, you can reference things and you can pull things together. That is a part of the process. But it's not about taking something, and it's like the game of, telephone, because that's not true light. Sorry. So I hope that explains a little bit about, false light. Oh, it's a 36-minute video. So you can understand it a little bit, and then within that, also understand true light. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really want people to engage on my videos. I'd like to talk about things. So if you have something that this is bringing up for you, let's talk about it. What is this bringing up for you? Right? What are you experiencing as you listen to this? Are there things perhaps that you're starting to realize have to go? Are you getting angry? Are you wanting to argue? Are you feeling, what are you feeling? Start tuning into those things. Let's talk about these things. Because when you are fully harmonized in your wholeness and in your, you could say your union, right? When you're existing within that, and I'm receiving, there's a lot of distortion around union. It's funny, I think I started to write notes on what is union, understanding union, and I'll close with that. I'll close with that. Maybe I didn't. What is union? Yeah, I can't find it. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is what I wrote. Many see union as a thing, a finished product, a template that is manufactured or created by those of us twin flames who are out here sharing and teaching, perhaps, or that is being received from Source Creator, and that we are here sharing, and that would be, you could say, true on some level, but adhering to that what I share is not the way forward. You need to discover that for yourself, right? That's a part of the process. You must discover that for yourself. That is how you come into union, right? So again, many see union as a thing, a finished product, a template manufactured, created by those of us twin flames who are out here sharing and teaching, perhaps, those of us who claim to be on the ascension path, etc., etc., those of us who are channeling this information, and yet it is not a thing. It is not a thing that you can just buy or purchase. To be in union is to be constantly in process and in connection with your authentic core self, transitioning and moving through each moment, being awake and aware to that which is you and that which is not original to who you are or who you are becoming, you could say, even though it is all things. To become aware of your core reality that you are creating and manifesting into and through and from. It is your own individuated space of being. It is being in the flow of life and remaining open to what life has to offer. It is being empowered in your knowing, sovereign, and free of any attachments and dependencies. It is taking action from a space of integrity, honesty, clarity, and alignment. Now, of course, this is coming from my own space, my own perspective of what I feel union is and what I see union as and how I experience union, right? So this is not to say that this is it. This is, again, you have to allow yourself to be within union. You have to come into this space of union. You have to work through everything that is not in alignment to that core beingness. But it is continual, and it is process, and it does not end, and you keep going and you continue to refine more and more, right? There's no end. There's no stagnation. We continue to move. We continue to move through things, right? And yet at the same time, you cannot experience union until you have experienced, right, false light, or until you have experienced not being in union with your own source light, not feeling like you're connected to your own source light, right? So that in and of itself is also, you could say, a part of the process, and it is what we are going through, and yet it is necessary at this time to begin to come into union, to begin to move away from the false light, to begin to dismantle it, to release it, to let it go, to create these new systems that we are all here for. That is why we came here. That is why we are here, to create the new systems, which are already being created, in which the groundwork has already been laid and the foundations have been set and people are out there doing their thing. Do you want to be a part of that? Or do you want to hold on to the falling systems? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, brothers and sisters? Choice is yours. So, I'd love to hear some responses from you all. To check out my offerings, how I work with people, different ways of working with me, different ways of working within your own true authentic source expression, or coming into that or tapping into that, right? I have much to offer in that regard. I teach you how to connect. I teach you how to create and manifest. I teach you how to connect to your own light, and I support that, and I hold space for that. within all the work that I do. So if you're interested in working with me in some capacity, check out what I have below. Schedule a free 30-minute reading. I offer free 30-minute readings, consultations, however you want to use that 30 minutes. But please, be respectful of my time. This isn't just, free. This is also honoring of me, right? This is to honor me as well. My giving, right? My giving, so I may receive as well. But it is, you to get free 30 minutes. But please don't use that if you aren't willing or you're not desiring to like work with this. Right, work with this. I have many price points for different offerings that are some of them are very reasonable. Some of them are not low in price either, because you get me, right? You get me one-to-one. And so you have a much deeper experience, we can catalyze it a lot faster, right? We can get things moving a lot faster. Flowing, right? So I do have a lot of different offerings. Check them out below, and hope to see you guys soon. Toodaloo.